Today's multi-zone horizontal completions require more than just a cookie-cutter approach to enhance completion efficiency. Weatherford's vast array of through tubing technologies, coiled tubing conveyance and industry-leading composite bridge plugs can reduce trips in the wellbore and allow more efficient plug milling and wellbore cleaning. This animation will depict Weatherford's approach to the typical plug and perf multi-zone horizontal completion process. Once the well is drilled, cased and cemented, typical completion operations would require 2 runs on coiled tubing, one with a milling assembly to prepare the toe and clean up any residual cement, and a second with tubing conveyed perforating guns to perforate the toe, allowing injection to the wellbore. Weatherford's FlowMax perforator allows this operation to be done in a single trip through the use of a flow-controlled valve, saving operators up to 30% of the cost for this routine wellbore service. After locating the cement obstruction at the well toe, circulation is increased to optimum milling rates to remove the cement and clean any debris. Once clear, the BHA can be pulled up hole to the initial perforating location. Flow rate is increased to activate the FlowMax valve, shutting off flow to the motor below and directing flow out the carbide jetting nozzles. Once at a jetting pressure, a sand slurry is introduced to begin jetting through the casing, cement, and extending a cavity into the reservoir. This process can be repeated multiple times until the required quantity of perforations are made. Once complete, flow is switched to clean fluid to flush the perforator. Then flow rate is decreased to open the valve and allow flow back to the motor, which can be reactivated to aid in wellbore clean-out of any residual sand material from the perforating operation. After the coiled tubing BHA is removed from the wellbore, proppant-laden frac fluids are pumped from surface to fracture the formation. As pressure builds beyond the compressive stress of the formation, fractures form, splitting the rock apart. These fractures are then packed with proppant, prohibiting them from closure. Once the well toe has been prepared, perforated and fractured, fluid is pumped to hydraulically push wireline guns and plugs out into the horizontal section of the wellbore to isolate the previous zone. An electric current is sent down the wireline to activate the explosive power charge of the setting tool and initiate plug movement. Weatherford's FracGuard Micro composite plug features a new dovetailed slip design with 20% less metallic content and improved composite technology, creating smaller mill-out particles compared to previous FracGuard plug designs. As the plug sets, the slips bite firmly into the casing, while the multifaceted anti-extrusion system expands and rubber element compresses to lock in a super-tight seal capable of withstanding high pressure and temperature applications up to 10,000 psi and 300 degrees Fahrenheit. After the setting tool shears off the set plug, perforating guns are activated to create additional perf clusters in the zone. Once wireline is pulled from the well, frac fluids chase a pump-down ball from surface until it seats on top of the FracGuard microplug. As pressure builds, fractures are initiated and packed off with proppant. This pump-down plug and perf process is repeated multiple times until the required number of zones have been perforated and fractured. The multifunction FlowMax valve can be easily reconfigured from a high-pressure, low-flow-rate abrasive perforator to a low-pressure, high-flow-rate annular circulation tool by simply switching out the top sub-components. This new sequence valve configuration is beneficial when drilling out multiple composite plugs, as it allows higher circulation rates and increased annular velocities during wiper trips back to the heel of the well to flush the milled plug debris to surface. Typical circulation during these trips would be through the CTD motor, which has flow limitations. By activating the valve, the motor gets a rest and circulation rates can be greatly increased. As the milling BHA locates the first composite plug, circulation is increased to sufficient milling rate and the drift diameter clear-cut mill engages the plug. Once the ball, top portion, slips and packing assembly is milled through, the lower mule shoe entry guide of the FracGuard microplug continues downhole in front of the mill until it lands on top of the next plug in the well. Weatherford's unique mule shoe design locks onto the lower plug to prevent spinning, and the milling process is continued through several plugs until a wiper trip is necessary to flush the milled plug debris to surface. Weatherford is the only major supplier that manufactures our own composite in our own state-of-the-art facilities with the strictest quality controls. And our filament-wound composite is stronger than any moulded plug, for outstanding reliability and performance time after time. To assist in the wiper trip process, the circulation rate is increased to the pre-calibrated switch flow of the Flowmax valve, shutting off flow through the motor and directing all flow to the annulus. Maximum pump rate can then be achieved while pulling to vertical section of the well to flush out all milled plug debris. Look no further than Weatherford for comprehensive solutions to increase efficiency on your multi-zone horizontal completions.